Good evening, parents and students of the Muroc Joint Unified School District. This is Kevin Cordes, Superintendent. I have with me this evening Brent Tan, our Assistant Superintendent, and Trevor Walker, our Chief Business Officer and Director of Technology and Food Services. We appreciate all that you have been doing over this past now full quarter of the 2020-21 school year. And as we move into the second quarter, we all know that we're still continuing with a distance learning model. As many of you have now known, we will be declaring that on October 28th, we will move into a position where we say that we are starting the process to open school again. I just want to reiterate that it is a process to do that. That does not mean that October 29th will look any different than it did today. In fact, it will look identical to the way it did today. There are a lot of moving parts and pieces in the background, but it is our goal to be able to bring students back to school following all of the guidelines that are given to us through the Department of Health and Human Services of California, and doing so in partnership and negotiation with our bargaining units, and making sure that we hear the needs and the understanding of what parents and students desire as well. So we have a ways to go on that. We will come back in a staged manner, meaning there'll be some students, our neediest students, that we'll focus on first, such as students in special education, and then we'll move from that point. I don't have any timeline for anyone at this moment. Just know that we are working through it. Now, we are a small community, and we tend to talk a lot with each other. So what we're doing right now is we are throwing ideas around, and we're talking about what it might look like when we come back. And so if you hear something, just know that it is probably part of a discussion about what it could look like. Until you hear it from one of us, or you hear it from a school principal, then, or if you've heard it from a teacher who will then say, I have been asked by the school principal or the superintendent or the school district to share this with you. Until you hear that, just trust me, it's not official. So we're probably going to hear a lot of things, and you are also going to hear a lot of things that other school districts are doing. Every single school district is very unique, and our district is very much so unique. So, for example, one thing that makes us unique is that the majority of our student population comes from Edwards Air Force Base. Of that population, the majority of the students that attend the schools at Edwards do not live on the base itself. The majority of students actually live in the surrounding communities. We know that we are in a place in our nation where many people are working from home using technology, and the idea of bringing students back and forth to school could become something that would be very difficult for parents to do. Though that's just one thing that we have to take into consideration as we move forward. But nevertheless, we're not sitting back and just kind of waiting to see what happens. We're working behind the scenes very diligently every single day to do everything we can to, one, make what we're currently doing work the best that it can, and two, as we look to the future, to see what will be the best way to move forward as we balance the safety of students with getting them back into the classroom as quickly as we possibly can. That's a delicate balance to meet, and so we're committed to doing so in a partnership. You will see some updates as we've done in the past to our surveys so that we can get a response back from you as parents and as students. We would love to hear from you. So please look forward to that in the future. We'll continue to ask for your feedback, but I just wanted to publicly thank you all again for your patience and working with us. Parents, one trend that we definitely are seeing, and this is across the nation, we are not immune to it, is we are seeing an increase of students who are struggling in school. We see an increase in students who are failing classes or on the brink thereof. Now, I may be preaching to the choir a little bit here. Perhaps some of the people I need to be talking to don't watch these videos. I don't know who sees them or who doesn't. But we know that there is a direct correlation between attendance of school and school achievement. So, to those of you who are ensuring that your students are attending every day, thank you for doing that. We understand that there are some occasions where attending live doesn't work, but making up the assignments is always an option. We've been given a lot of flexibility by the state, and we have definitely passed that on to you as parents. We support you in that, but we do know that there is a correlation between attending school and actually watching lessons and participating in class and the achievement in grades and also in life later on. So please ensure that your students are attending school as much as possible. Thank you for all your help. If you have any problems, questions, or concerns, I would suggest that if it's a classroom issue, again, as I've said from the beginning, bring that up directly with the teacher. Our teachers are open and willing to work with you as individuals. If you feel it's a school-wide issue or you just need further assistance, reach out to the school principal and have that discussion. And if you need any further help beyond that, I'm always here to help, and the district office is always here to help as well. We just like to ask you to start with the teacher, the principal, and then finally with the district. But we're grateful that so far we've been moving forward, and given all that we have been given to deal with, we are succeeding. And that is in part due to you. And we're grateful for the partnership that we have with the families here in the Muroc Joint Unified School District. I'm going to turn the rest of the time over to Brent Tan and to Trevor Walker to talk about some issues and concerns and things going on in the district. And I wish you all a happy weekend, a great week next week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much.
Hello, students and parents. With the first quarter concluding and grades being disseminated to you, I encourage you to reach out to your teacher or principal to initiate a parent-teacher conference or a student study team meeting if you do have any type of academic or social-emotional concerns. So what is a student study team meeting? An SST is a group formed with the school to further examine students' academic, behavioral, and social-emotional progress. An SST usually consists of a teacher, an administrator, and if applicable, a support personnel like a counselor. In this meeting, the team will review data, we'll go ahead and develop an action plan, possibly propose services, and develop a way to kind of progress monitor the effectiveness of the plan. If your child is currently on a 504 or an IEP plan and you have any concerns, please reach out to your administrator or your case manager to set up a meeting, and so we can go ahead and address your concerns in that format. It really is our priority to work with you to create an educational plan that allows you and your child to succeed. The other thing I kind of wanted to address is concerns regarding the district moving to possibly a hybrid in-person instructional model in the near future. We understand that some families may feel uncomfortable with the hybrid in-person instructional model, and we're worried that we would do away with our distance learning format. Please understand that we will always offer a distance learning as an instructional model. And we are currently hard at work figuring out logistics with our teachers and staff so that we may provide a program that is really robust and does not compromise rigor. Thank you again for your feedback. That really kind of helps us and guide us. I'm going to turn it over to Trevor to kind of talk about some things in regards to technology. Trevor?
Thanks, Brent. I'm just going to touch on a few quick things today. First and foremost, and most important of all, is the Impact Aid cards. So by now, everyone should have an Impact Aid card. It's come in the mail. Inside is your card, instructions, and a mailer to send it back. Please go ahead and get those done as soon as possible so we can start getting our final counts. If you haven't sent it in, pretty soon you'll start getting calls from us and messages. They're very, very important for the district. So please, if you haven't gotten a chance to do it, maybe this weekend, just take a quick minute, fill it out, put it in the mail, and send it our way. We really appreciate that. Other thing I want to touch on, today we did have some Google outages. It is one of the downsides to distance learning is we are much more reliant on all these outside companies, and if they have outages, then we are impacted as well. So we are aware there's some Google hiccups today. Our teaching staff were aware. So we'll see, we'll monitor it. It looked like everything came back up pretty quickly, but at the start of the day, things were a little rough for a bit. Last thing, on next week's questionnaire survey, we're going to be asking you some tech questions as well. So we'll be asking a little bit about maybe where you guys are struggling or other things to help. One thing we are looking at from feedback from some parents is potentially we can put out maybe a few videos or a little bit more assistance for those of you who are trying to get more engaged with your students and trying to understand a little bit more how to keep on top of things. With that, I wish you guys all a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday.